Mabiike, what's your version of the mayhem? How would you explain the mayhem that happened?
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here tonight. First of all, I would like to denounce acts of violence, acts of intimidation, and ballot stuffing which happened yesterday. I am not happy that the force failed in getting intelligence that this would happen. In the wee hours of Monday, Tuesday, I got information that a meeting had taken place at Conference Center. It had been organized by one of the candidates. I know that the Uganda police should have gotten this information. This candidate was planning ballot stuffing. Actually, had gained access to the ballots already. He had mobilized the youth, popularly known as Kayima. He had hired 100 vehicles to transport these young people from polling station to polling station in Kampala to do the kind of acts that happened. It is very unfortunate that neither ISO nor the Uganda Police Force or CID failed to get this intelligence information. I suspect that you could have gotten this information and you kept quiet, or you were just involved in neglect of duty if you didn't get this information. Now this happened. These acts were planned by a candidate, the official candidate of the movement. This is obvious, and this is open information on the streets of Kampala. You don't even need CID. You don't even need ISO to investigate this. This is open information on the streets. Where was this planned? Who was involved? Is all known. In Kawempe, Kafero, and all these other young men were involved. And this information is known. I can give you the names of the people who masterminded this one.
That would be very nice, by the way.
So, right. having said that, that was candidate number one who masterminded the ballot stuffing. Now, of course, there was response by another candidate, and this other candidate was not responding in good faith too, because all the fake pre-ticked ballot papers were ticked in the names of two people. The majority belonged to Samatimba, a few belonged to Lukwago. And in the same vein, that the Lukwago camp had imported voters from Mukono, from Chireka, from Wakiso, who were apprehended in Kawempe. Actually, today, most of those voters, imported voters, have been charged in the courts because they were arrested.
Correct.
And 50 of them were arrested, and they were kept in custody in a Kawempe police station. So these two candidates were obviously involved in masterminding the fracas that took place yesterday. And of course, to me, I'm very disappointed that somebody who wants to be mayor of the city of Kampala, somebody who wants to lead others, and the candidates who claim to have support of the people, at the end of the day degenerate into mobilizing goons and mobilizing youth to do the acts that actually they did. I think our morals have sunk so low. And such people cannot have the moral standing again to lead the people of Kampala in any position. If you are popular, if you claim to be popular, if you think that you have the people, then why do you engage? Why, of all things, would you engage yourself in ballot stuffing, in importing voters, in disorganizing polling stations? So I think this was very, very unfortunate.
Right.
It was a very big blemish on the mark of the leaders in Kampala, the people in Kampala, and this must be corrected.
So how can this be corrected? Mm-hmm. The election has to be reorganized. So what can be done?
Of course, this has got wide implications. Number one, it first of all brought facts to bear that Uganda police must put its act together. You had all the time to collect this intelligence. You had all the time to know what was happening in which camp. But you did not do that. On the side of the Ghana police and security agencies, that was neglect of duty. Two, on the side of the Electoral Commission, they too should be blamed for neglecting their duty. Ballot boxes and ballot papers are a possession and a property of the Uganda Electoral Commission until the right moment or that suitable moment when voting starts. This was not so. Candidates gained access to ballot papers. How did this happen? Ballot papers which were supposed to be in possession of the Electoral Commission, ballot papers which are supposed to be in the stores of the Electoral Commission, ended up in the hands of some candidates. How did this happen? That shows incompetence. Twice, the Supreme Court of the Republic of Uganda has adjudged the Electoral Commission as being incompetent. And I think this is another fact that manifests that incompetence. And the implication to this is that where you fail in your own responsibility, you must pay. And as candidates in that line, we are suing the Electoral Commission in damages for our time, for our resources, and for all the organization that we have been engaged in for the last 3 months. We were prepared for an election. We put in extra time. During the last 1 week, we put in extra resources, and all these resources have now come to waste. And there is no other way out other than claiming compensation and reparation from the Electoral Commission. We, in the coming days, are of course going to be engaged in legal battles with the Electoral Commission to have us compensated. The other implication is obvious. The laws of Uganda are very clear. The Local Government Act is very clear. The Parliamentary Elections Act is very clear. On a candidate who engages himself in any electoral offence that is so stipulated in those acts. It is obvious that 2 candidates who were involved in reporting voters, who were involved in ballot stuffing, their verdict by law and by statute in the laws of Uganda is clear. They must be disqualified. Mabiike will not participate in any election where Sematimba Peter and Lukwago are involved, because they were the masterminders of the ballot stuffing. They were the masterminders of the importation of voters. They were the masterminders of the fracas that happened yesterday. And we are looking for further action from the Electoral Commission to ensure that these 2 culprits are actually brought to book and that action is taken according to the laws of Uganda.
Yes. Thank you very much, Honorable Mabiike. May I pick this from what he has said?
Yes.
He's a lawmaker. I'm a law implementer. He very well knows that if he has this information, I would ask, unless this information comes to us, the investigators, all of this, so that all bits and pieces are put together, and the culprits, the suspects, are brought to book, and once they are found guilty, yes, what next? Otherwise, what he says would be very appealing to the electorate. But the law may stipulate otherwise, because I'm a suspect, you say, prove. So we need to prove this. And this is not incompetence on our part, because if he got that information, and maybe our officers didn't pick that, we didn't pick it, could he have given it to us? Because he has that duty as well. Of course, this is not real ping pong. This is a duty for all of us to make sure that the quality of leaders we are going to have are those that are worth the salt, are those that we can hold to account for whatever we do. If they are tainted, maybe we don't need them in those offices. When they come, they might be big tigers that are going to eat us up. I don't mention names in this. We must investigate this to its logical conclusion. How do we do this? When we put our heads together. Everybody who has information, this is my appeal to Ugandans. One, I started with the younger men who are vigilant. That's good. They saw and they said, Afande, unless you do this, we are also going to retaliate. And that was good. They didn't retaliate. And that's healthy. So, Honorable Mabiike and others, if you have information, if you're not satisfied with the Electoral Commission, and take them to court, that's very healthy.
All right. Well, this is Spectrum, listeners on Radio 1. Tonight we're continuing to focus on the violence and irregularities that marred the Kampala local council elections yesterday. We're asking the question, what measures are candidates and the police taking to avoid a repeat? We have one of the candidates in that mayoral race, Honorable Mabiike, and a senior official from the Uganda Police, Assistant Superintendent of Police, Mr. Emilian Kayima. He's the political commissar for the Kampala Metropolitan Police. We're going for a commercial break, but when we come back, you'll be able to, we'll continue the discussion, but you'll also be able to call in at a later point in this talk. You can also send your text message. All you need to do is type the word Spectrum in your phone browser, message, question or comment, name and address, and send it to 7197. That's right, Spectrum space message, send it to 7197. In the meantime, do stay tuned.
Let's offer you a credit card with real value and reward, and enable you to shop in Uganda and at millions of retail outlets worldwide, including online shopping. Let's give you the power to borrow cash right when you need it, and offer you 55 interest-free days for card purchases. Let's offer you a